There are several tools within the sketch tools that allow you to reuse edges and reuse sketch geometry rather than having to recreate it. They're the convert entities, offset entities, the mirror tool, linear sketch pattern, and circular sketch pattern. So if I create a sketch on the plane one here, we can start with the convert entities tool. If I select an edge or the face itself and choose convert, it's going to convert over that edge. And then if I were to select the ellipse and click OK, it'll convert that as well. Offset entities does much the same as convert entities, except that it creates an offset from the edge. So I can choose this edge, for example, or I can choose the one I just created and offset by 1/4 of an inch. And you have several options with the offset entities. You can reverse this or make a bidirectional offset. And you can also add the offset in directly or use that reverse feature just by clicking into the space here, and that'll choose which side to place the offset. So that's the convert entities and offset entities. I'll go ahead and exit out of the sketch, and we'll go ahead and hide out this sketch, hide out the part there, and hide out this sketch as well. And we'll create a new sketch on plane 1. I'm going to go ahead and go normal to this so it's a little bit easier to see. And then I'm going to draw in a center line at the origin. Then I'll draw a circle on one side of it. And then we'll use the mirror entities. And this allows you to select out multiple entities and mirror them about a line. And we have the option of either creating a copy, or if you uncheck this, it'll just move that over to the other side. So I'll go ahead and draw in several more lines here and go back into the mirror entities. And you can see I can choose out any number of the lines. If I choose that copy option, it'll place a copy of the selected entities on the other side. There's also an option to mirror dynamically using the dynamic mirror. If we select the center line, you'll see it puts 2 hash marks on both sides, indicating that it is a dynamic mirror. And anything I draw on one side is going to go ahead and drop in on the other. You'll also notice that if you draw a line directly to the center line, it creates a single entity across as the mirror, as opposed to creating a split entity. One thing you'll want to keep in mind with the dynamic mirror is that when you delete out entities, they won't delete out on the other side. So from here, I'll go ahead and turn off the dynamic mirror. We'll just go back into Tools, Sketch Tools, and choose the dynamic mirror option. And that removes out those hashes. And then I'm going to go ahead and actually delete out all these entities. So the next thing we'll do is draw in a circle here. And I'm also going to draw a point off to the side there. And we're going to create a circular pattern. Now, the circular pattern requires an entity to pattern, and it requires a point to rotate the pattern about. We could also change that point by going into that box and selecting a different point there. And you can also change the positioning of the center as long as that point isn't fully defined. You can also change the instance count as well as the size of the radius of the pattern. And we can also choose to add a spacing dimension or give these equal spacing. And the spacing dimension will add a little bit more definition to the pattern so that it's a little bit easier to fully define. And the last patterning tool we'll look at is the linear sketch pattern. And by default, this comes in with direction 1 as the x-axis and direction 2 as the y-axis. If you actually want to use a different direction, you'll need a edge from one of your features. And with this, we also have the option of adding that spacing dimension in as well. And we could also fully define this by setting them horizontal to each other and giving them a spacing dimension from the origin.